Hello. Yeah, this is happening. I figured I'd get at least one more stream in for the year, and I figured, why not? People have been shilling Teenage Exocolonist to me for a while now, and it was on sale. It'd be a nice time. Do want to show at least one thing going into this. What's up? Look at my scuffed mishmash of assets. I gotta fix the chat box. I don't know how to scale the chat box well enough, but oh well. We're here. That'll have to do. Hold on. I gotta do this right. I took a bunch of stuff off of the internet. So first of all, the Splat VTuber model, Archdan Miiverse. I'll put these in the description of the channel. Why not? Archdan Miiverse for the VTuber model. These are all free to use, but I figured I might as well credit them. The transition, the little boxes, little windows you see, and the overlay that you're going to see in a bit is from Parker Gaijin. The background is by R. Bree. And that's about it. That's about it for all the stuff I got off the internet. It looks so nice. It makes everything look so much nicer. And honestly, I kind of need that, you know? The microphone, shoot, I forgot. And I feel bad. Anyways, moving on. Boom. It looks so... I should look into a non-Splatoon VTuber model, because I don't think I'm going to be playing Splatoon on stream for any amount of time in the future. So I have no idea. I don't really know what to expect for Exocolonist. All I know is that it's a sort of visual novel kind of situation with some cards involved, but that's about it. I hear it's great. That's why I'm playing. There are some content warnings, as I'm seeing here. Does not contain excessive violence or other explicit content. However, it does deal with mature topics, which will be uncomfortable for some players. Words. There are many ways to live your life on Vertumna, and just like in real life, some choices can lead you to dark places. Broadly, content warnings for the game include the following: children in peril or dying, animal cruelty and death, bodily harm and grossness, implied sexual content, drugs and alcohol, violence in text, mental health and trauma, domestic abuse, and traumatic global events. So for those of you that have not played this game before, here is your content warnings. There is also major character death apparently. Should I click on these? Oh, I'm not gonna read any of it because I think it feels like any of it could contain spoilers. It goes into specifics but won't spoil the game. Ah. Okay. One of your childhood friends can die suddenly in the first year. The brother of one of your friends will die during it. Okay. There are scenes that imply children and babies are among the casualties of a catastrophic event. Your character is subject to a great deal of peril. That's a lot to go through. Well, we're just gonna jump right in. I should turn up the audio too, just in case. Because I don't know how loud it's gonna be. Let's do 50% right now. Wake up. Yep, content warning. You wake to chaos. A confusion of light and heat and smoke. Fire. Your head is pounding. You must have hit it and blacked out, but you aren't sure how you got here, or what on Vertumna is happening. There's something important you need to remember. Your stomach lurches as the floor crumbles beneath your feet, then collapses. Your body aches and your eyes burn from the smoke. A figure appears from through the flames. It's your friend. Your friend? Wait. Why can't you remember her name? She's gesturing and shouting at you, but all you hear is a ringing in your ears. What's going on? You try to speak, but the words come out jumbled. Your throat seizes around a lungful of choking smoke, and you feel dizzy and confused. Your friend pulls you out of the rubble. She throws your arm over her shoulder and half drags you towards the door. Through it, you see a deep, eerie twilight, dark blue and cold against the heat of the fire around you. Glow season. Glowing eyes. You shake your head to clear your vision. Is that some kind of dog? Like from Earth? Oh no. The creature howls and plunges, its jaws open. Was a teenage exocolonist. Yeah, it was a pretty weird looking dog. Is it too loud? I'm afraid to press anything right now. Aha. What do the dog do? You were born on the Stratospheric, Earth's first colony ship, halfway through its 20-year voyage to a wormhole at the edge of the Sol system. Your parents run the hydroponic gardens which make fresh air and vegetables for the ship. Like the other colonists, they bravely chose to make this one-way journey to the uncharted planet Vertumna 4 in the hope they could escape Earth's troubles. Thank you for the audio check. Like, they had you the old-fashioned way, merging their genes like they merged their cultures and traditions. They name you Solana. You're a bright-eyed child with an active imagination. Sometimes too active, your mom says. Use the sliders on the left to choose pronouns and late teens appearance. These can be changed at any time. Customize. Ooh, that's cool. Whoa, this is very in-depth. Let's go male pronouns. Let's go masculine appearance. You have vivid dreams of things you've never experienced. Dirt under your feet, skies overhead, endless jungles and strange animals. You wonder if this is what Vertumna will be like. Every child on the Stratospheric is given one genetic enhancement. By age 6, you see the first signs of yours. let's go with an absorbent brain. +1 skill on brain challenge win. A mental challenge. Only if you win. Professor Hal says kids learn fast because their brains are like sponges, but when people get older, they can't absorb as much new stuff. Not for you. You're always learning, and your curiosity knows no end. The other kids have trouble keeping up with you, but one tries. Energetic and loyal anemone. Tough and gentle cow. Bold and confident Mars. Quiet and adventurous Dice. Or Dice. Studious and mature Tangent. Shy and sweet Tammy. Let's hang out with Tangent. Tangent sits right up front by the hall projector and always has her hand in the air. She and her twin brother Dice drifted apart when she started genome treatment to make her body conform to her gender. Today, Tang is the girl you always knew she was, but her relationship with Dice is worse than ever. Oh, I can go back and choose. +1 if this has the highest value. Anemone is the most enthusiastic person you know. Your favorite memory is the time she taught you how to play 0G sports ball after class. She never means to get you into trouble, but somehow you always seem to find it together. Cal is a sweetheart, always ready to lend a hand or play a game. He and Tammy are just as inseparable, so it's almost like you have two best friends instead of one. Cal teaches you how to take care of all the classroom plants. Your parents are very proud of both of you. Mars is a natural leader. Whenever you're all playing together, Mars is the one who comes up with all the ideas. She can be a little bossy, but that's part of her charm. She always organizes fun stuff for the kids after class. You're both founding You're both founding members of the Secret Fun Times Club. Tammy is the kindest person you know. She idolizes Auntie Sedent and is always following her around, helping her with the babies or learning how to cook. She has the best snacks at class recess and always shares, especially with you and Cal. She and Cal are just as close, so it's kinda like having two best friends. Let's go with Tangent. You were 10 years old when the ship finally reaches the wormhole. Professor Hal says it's like a doorway to other star systems, with the planet Vertunda 4 on the other side. You run emergency drills for months to prepare. When the day finally comes, it starts with a rumble. Then things start to slide off the tables. You hurry to gather near the escape pods just in case. The emergency area is crowded with families. It's going to be fine, Solana, your dad soothes. We'll be through the wormhole and down on the planet before you know it, just like we've practiced. Your mom gives him a sharp, worried look. Red emergency lights switch on as a siren begins to sound somewhere distant in the ship. You try to breathe slowly like you were taught, but you're very scared. You look out a porthole, the stars are gone. When you're frightened, you... Okay, have fun, Sav. Yeah, I see you around, Sav. I'm looking forward to this. Ugh, my nose is messing me up. I can't do anything else, so I'm just gonna get in touch with my emotions. You bawl like a baby. It feels good. You aren't the only one. Nearby, your classmate Tammy has tears streaming down her cheeks. Mars is trying quietly to console her. She sighs as your crying makes Tammy wail even more loudly. Your dad puts his arms around you as you let it out. You wait. The shaking builds. Then everything starts to get very weird. The hallway stretches, and you're stretching too, your arms impossibly long. Your head feels like it's slowly filling up like a balloon and contracting down to the size of an atom at the same time. Is this the wormhole? You hear the distant, ominous squeal of metal giving way as the ship shudders and lurches in slow motion. The weirdest part is the sense of deja vu. You're sure this has happened to you before, and you know somehow that everything is going to be okay. The shuddering reaches a crescendo. You hear an impossibly loud crunch and feel weightless for a few seconds before gravity slams you back against the wall head first. You black out. As you slip unconscious, you feel yourself twisted out of time. It's today, yesterday, and tomorrow all at once. And more than just one tomorrow. Lots of them. Different tomorrows. You find yourself in a place that you know from your dreams. Tilled fields, dramatic ridges, and a stranger, but also not a stranger, grinning as she grabs your hand. Hurry up, she says. I'm not going to let you miss this. Quiet season. Distantly, you can feel the ship's shaking has stopped, and hear your parents' worried voices. Feeling safe, you slip further into the warm embrace of the stars. You drift. Gradually, your consciousness reforms. You wake up in the med bay. The med bed under you plays a soft tone and an automated voice speaks. 2 weeks have elapsed. The patient's cranial injury has completed healing. They may now be safely discharged. As the fog lifts from your head, you realize something seems different about this room. It's so bright. You try to focus on the window. Something is definitely different. Sunlight? Instead of the familiar blackness of space, bright light from twin blue and yellow suns is streaming through the windows. You peer out and see fields, glass-walled domes, and walls ringed by giant mushroom-like trees. There are construction materials everywhere, and people walking around, outside, on the ground. Hey Coffee, how's it going? You better get out there and join them. Cautiously step outside to your new life. Holiday season got you busy. Honestly, kind of same. Sorry, 1 second. Nice little drink, 7-Up. The reason I'm streaming today instead of like New Year's Eve is because tomorrow's my mom's birthday. So a nice little gift. Eating some form of rice concoction? Hey, as long as you're eating. Thanks, Coffee. Oh! Tammy jumps as you step out of the ship's quarters behind you. You're awake. Are you all better? You better go see your dad. She points southeast towards some geodesic domes. To walk, click on the ground. Click on characters to talk to them. Tammy looks concerned. You slept for so long after you bumped your head, she says. I bet your parents were worried. Your dad is working over in geoponics near those domes. They're called greenhouses. I would go with you, but, this is as far as I've been from the ship since we landed, Tammy stammers, blushing. It's scary outside. Understandable. Southeast, right? Is Pops. Solana, your dad gives you a big warm hug. I'm so happy you're finally awake. Dr. Instance thought it'd be best to keep you asleep while your noggin healed. Your mother and I thought you might be asleep. You might sleep away the whole year, my snoozy little gooseberry. He checks your head and looks relieved. He was clearly very worried about you, but covers it with jokes and smiles. You love your dad. Welcome to Vertumna, he says, gesturing around you. You've never seen the stratospheric from the outside except in pictures. The ship has been separated in two, and parts taken off to form other buildings and a big wall around the whole colony. The alien jungle creeps right up to the wall. Excuse me. Only the geodesic greenhouses pass outside it, dotting their way up the hill. How did you do this so fast? You've been asleep for weeks, my dear aubergine, he says, and these geodesic greenhouses practically put themselves up. But some of this is only a quick temporary solution, he admits. We'll keep growing and improving things. One day, our little colony will be as big as a whole city. Oh, before I forget, he pulls a package out from his satchel and hands it to you. You blink and stare at it blankly. Don't you know what day it is? He asks. You honestly don't. You remind him that you've been asleep in the med bay. Hey, standby, how's it going? I hear, several friends have recommended this to me, so I was like, okay, it's on sale, so. I figured, why not give it a shot? Plus, it feels right. It feels right playing a game about growth, heading into the new year. Happy birthday, he shouts, wrapping you in a warm hug. Your birthday? Already? You feel a dizzying sense of deja vu. You stare hard at the wrapped package. You know exactly what is in here. You remember it. No, you dreamed about this package some years ago on the ship. Inside will be a small medallion in the shape of a sun that your dad made by hand. How did you know this? It's exactly as you imagined, as you dreamed. A feeling of panic rises in your throat. Your hand shakes. But how? Your dad notices. Are you okay, Solana? He snaps his fingers. Dr. Instance shouldn't have let you out so early. Sometimes those sleeping meds take a while to wear off. They might make your head feel funny for a few hours. You nod. Maybe that's all that is. Someone shouts your dad's name. Listen, I'm so sorry, Solana, he says, but I have to get back to work. There was an accident when we landed and... He stops himself. Don't worry. We're going to fix it, your mother and I. Professor Howell is expecting you in classes, if you're feeling up to it, your dad says, pointing west to the engineering wing, in the rear end of the bisected ship. Then he points to the large doors you came out of earlier. Or you can relax in our quarters until you're feeling well. Or feeling better. We'll talk later tonight, he says, then kisses the top of your head and ruffles your hair. Have a wonderful birthday, Solana. I love you. Love you too, Dad. To enter buildings, click on the door or the flag beside it. or get close and press enter or another action button. Then choose an activity for the month to gain skills and advance time. There are 13 months a year and 10 years to the end of the game. You'll only have time to focus on a few things. Oh boy, time management. Am I back to Potionomics? There's Anemone. There was dice back there too. If it's class, then the garrison. A small team led by Security Chief Rhett was enough to keep the peace on the Stratospheric. To stay busy, they also ran the exercise gym and sports ball courts. Here on Vertumna, the garrison has expanded fast. They're building a huge wall around the colony and have an outdoor firing range and a big covered dojo. And best of all, a regulation-sized sports ball court. Not important right now, though. My rice has no taste. It gets spicy. What did you put in it? Like a bit of wasabi? Spicy mayo? I've been using sriracha mayo in a lot of my food lately. It's just so nice. It's just it has just enough of that nice kick. A low throbbing noise comes from the engine room, which provides power to the colony. Other corridors lead off to the teaching labs and medbay. You know the route to your classroom well, but the rest of this wing is off limits to children. Congruence, the ship's onboard AI, beams down at you from a nearby holoscreen. Don't forget to study hard, Solana. Let's go with... Plus, let's go with humanities. Oh, I'm sorry, 1 second. My throat, whatever's in my nose is starting to go to my throat. I'll be right back. Okay, that was gross. Oh, I didn't even take the time to look at Congruence's sprite. Welcome, Solana. Professor Hal greets you. I hope you're all warmed up and ready to study the glorious humanities. History, literature, language, media, and philosophy. And yes, if you're lucky, we'll have a little ancient earth poetry too. He seems excited about that last bit. By the way, if anyone is interested in taking engineering classes, please register through Congruence's scheduling system when you have a chance. She'll be helping me teach them. Today's assignment is an easy one, Hal says with a yawn, because I was up late repairing Congruence's subterminal and I could use a map. I'd like you to write an essay on what the Vertumna colony means to you. I feel safe here. Vertumna colony is a bastion of security in an otherwise chaotic universe. Well, you don't put it that poetically, but you write about its big strong walls and steadfast guards. steadfast guards, and how much you like your bedroom snug in the belly of the ship. Let's get to work. When you work or go to class, you'll play a quick card challenge as the month passes. Move cards to fill the 5 panes and make the best hand you can. Yes, order matters. Is that a bot? Is that a chat bot? Account creators. No, thank you. Yes, order matters. If your total in the circle on the right reaches the goal value, you win. Depending on your cards, some challenges can't be won, but you still get a reward for doing your best. Bonus for flushes, same color together. Bonus for pairs, same number together. Bonus for straights, increasing from left to right. More cards in a flush, pair, or straight, the higher the bonus added to your total. Cards can also affect each other and can be rearranged to find the best total score. Ooh. Welcome back. I see, so this is 2 of a kind, this is 3 of a kind, and 3 of the same color, and I win. Your skills increase when you work or go to school, with extra skills if you win the challenge, and a kudos bonus if you make the highest scoring hand with your cards. Excuse me. Working also increases stress, which prevents you from working if it reaches 100. To relieve stress, take a month off to relax in the quarters wing. Your parents have been working from first dawn to well after dinner every day. You don't like it though? That's ah man. It's okay, I'm not good with spice either. You know, growing food is an important job, and it's vital to get crops in the ground right away. But there seems to be something more than that. It's such a change from growing up on the stratospheric when you saw them all the time. You stay up and wait for them at night before going to bed. Though you can tell they're exhausted, they make an effort to spend time with you. I'm sorry we haven't seen much of you, little gooseberry, your dad says. Your mom watches you as she works a pebble out of her gardening tiller, which also serves as a crutch. How have you been holding up? I learned some stuff in school. I'm glad to hear that, your mom says. I want you to study hard, work hard, and stay out of trouble. Your dad smiles. And Professor Hal will give you kudos if you get good grades. You can spend those at the depot once it's open. You know, says your dad, raising an eyebrow at your mom, I think there are lots of different ways to learn, and school is just one of them. You can learn from working on a hobby, or by helping a friend. Your mom shakes her head and sighs, though you can tell she's trying to put on the gentle expression. We both agree that this colony is an experiment, and that means we're going to do things differently than on Earth. You're old enough now to start making your own decisions about your education and future, and if that means you find your own way, we'll accept that. Your dad puts a hand on your shoulder. We'll be proud of you, no matter what you do. Try talking to your friends. They may have ideas for how you can spend your time. And come by Geoponics, your mom adds. We could use your help. Next month. Anemone is bumping a sports ball with her wrists, trying to keep it in the air. Heads up, she shouts, and bumps the ball in your direction. Think fast. Bounce it back. You bounce the ball back and forth with her, trying to see how many times you can rally and keep it going. Anemone tells you about the new sports ball court. A proper, regulation-sized court, way bigger than the little zero-G one on the Stratospheric. Her brother Calm is coaching the junior sports ball team this year. He's so great, she says. He's good at everything, especially spiking. He's coaching me to play awesome like him. You should come join us. Sports ball in the garrison. Hey, Dice. You see Dice sitting on the ground beside some bushes. Is he hiding from somebody? He seems to be watching the gate in the wall to the south, where grown-ups are coming and going. Kids aren't allowed past the walls, he says quietly, without looking up. They say there's nothing to be afraid of, but then why do we need walls? You stare at the gate, and have a sudden rush of memory so strong that you think you might faint. You imagine something crashing through the wall, something enormous and dark and wriggly. For years in space, you've had half-remembered nightmares of monsters, of your ship being destroyed, of sifting through wreckage that used to be your home, trying to find something. Your dad always told you the dreams weren't real. Breaking you from your daydream, Dice whispers, I think there are monsters out there. Our parents would keep us safe. Maybe, Dice mumbles. He doesn't look convinced. He looks down at his feet. If you believe everything they say, I guess you should go to school now. Like a good boy, he sneers. You shake the vision from your head. It was just a dream. Dice must have made you imagine it with his creepy talk. Why does he always have to be like this? I'm gonna go to school and hang out with your cooler sister. See how you like that. Oh, like the little dinosaur at the bottom. Congruence. Shark. Oh, the little cat ears. That's adorable. Pickles. Hello, Pickles. I'll register for engineering classes. Using Congruence's HoloNet scheduling system is almost a test on its own. You feel like a hacker navigating the confusing interface, but manage to add your name to the list of drop-in students. You're now eligible to join Tangent and some of the older students in engineering classes. +2 engineering, +1 organizing. Nice. What's this? Oh. You'll keep adding to your deck as you age and can forget cards by spending time relaxing. You have a limited number of gear slots based on your organization and other skills. Click gear to equip and unequip it. Collectibles that you find while exploring may be given as gifts to friends or used during challenges for one-use bonuses. I guess technically I have a Discord server. Technically, I do have a Discord server. It is Pega's. It is Pegashush, my good old buddy. I have meant to like make my own, but I don't know how to organize a server worth anything. So That'll be a thing. That'll be a 2023 thing. The transfer ownership, yada yada. Yeah, it'll just be a 20. I'll figure something. I'll think of something. But for now, is there a map? Can I? A system, friends. Let's just go to class. Let's go to engineering. Professor Howell rubs his hands together as he waits for the class to settle down. He's in a great mood. This must be his favorite subject to teach. If biology and chemistry are the wet sciences, then engineering must be a dry one. But believe me, this class definitely won't be dry. He winks. It's weird. We'll also be learning math, physics, computing, robotics, architecture, and astronomy. Tangent raises her hand. Will we also learn about nuclear engineering? She asks. Professor Hal nods. Yes. At a beginner level, we'll have an overview of atomic theory and take a field trip to the engine rooms to learn how our ship's nuclear reactor works to power the colony. I can read. Mid-quiet engineering. Boom. Boom. Bow. Wow. Nailed it. Yeah. And I got a kudos. Let's go. This week he had a few more bouts of deja vu. Remembering what somebody is about to say or do just before they do it. Sometimes they actually do it, but not always. This morning, you were sure Professor Hal was going to trip on the uneven floor in the cafeteria and spill his plate of hash browns. You even told Mars to watch. He didn't, though. As Professor Hal walked away, his hash browns safe for today, Mars called you a liar and a dummy. At night, your dreams are all mixed up with stuff that you know can't be real. You're chased by monsters the size of buildings, only to be saved by strange people you've never met. You're holding hands with someone you love. You're crying as you help lift a shrouded body into the colony recycler. Everything seems so familiar, but when you try to recall their faces, when you wake up, they're smeared in your memory like wet paint. But what if those things haven't happened yet, but they will someday? Anytime you try to tell someone, they think you're playing a trick, or that you're sick and need to go to medbay. You eventually decide to stay quiet about your strange dreams. Why? I don't want people to worry. Your parents have so much on their minds already. You have a feeling that something is happening at Geoponics that they don't want you to know. You don't understand it, but when they come home at night, they look really sad. You don't want to make that worse. If you just keep going to classes and staying out of trouble, it'll be easier for everyone. Yourself included. Mid-quiet. Late quiet. Tangent is hunched over her hollow palm, frowning and poking angrily at the air. She speaks without looking up at you. Professor Howell wants us to prep a list of native flora with pictures. There should be a catalog on the colony holonet, but I can't find it anywhere. Let's make our own list. Tangent is dubious, but agrees to try your idea. The two of you run around the colony yard, taking pictures of all the different vertumnant plants you can find and making up fake sciencey sounding names for them, like Wonkius shrubbius and Purpurus gracium. After an hour, you've categorized 51 different species. Tang doesn't think it's a very complete list, or a very scientific method, but she figures you must have learned something. Can I hang out with you more? Have you gone outside the colony yet? Tang asks you. I hear all sorts of terrible things. Regardless, we're not allowed to stray from the gates unless we're on expedition. Tang rolls her eyes. Not that it stops my brother. Want to study together? You and Tangent sync your holopalms and play a game together where you race to assemble chemical compounds using a simple programming language. Tangent is a whiz at it and breezes through the levels, barely breaking a sweat. You can tell she's hiding a smile when she looks over your shoulder to help you with a particularly tricky algorithm. Tangent looks up to the sky and shades her eyes. It's too bright, she complains, and it's too hot, and the nights are cold. Living on the stratospheric meant we never had to experience discomfort. Remind me, why aren't we putting our resources into repairing the ship? You find your mom hard at work setting up the greenhouses with a small construction crew. You've seen these plans pinned to the wall of your... excuse me? Ooh, goodness. That just happened. You've seen these plants pinned to the wall of your family's quarters for years now. These geodesic domes will house the more delicate plants from Earth. Spinach, tomatoes, maybe even fruit. She takes a swig from her canteen as you approach. Looking for something to do, she asks. Remember, Solana, you're responsible for your own schedule now that we've landed. You can decide how to spend your time, so long as it's productive. She points towards the engineering wing in the back half of the stratospheric severed frame. Professor Howell is still expecting you in class, but a well-rounded education includes practical application. You're old enough to help with the work around here. Cats don't like spice. Do cats not like spicy things? Do cats not like spicy food? Most animals want to avoid the spicy taste because it causes pain. If your cat's seeking out spicy food, it's probably not because she loves the taste. More than likely, she's drawn to the unique smell, texture, or the warmer temperature. Cats who eat spicy food are at risk of developing digestive issues such as an upset vomit, upset stomach, vomiting, lethargy, and diarrhea. They could get like a tiny taste of spice, as long as you're careful about it, I think. She claps her hand on your shoulder. I've got another minute. Anything you need to know? Can I join expeditions? Oh, you're too young to leave the colony. It's dangerous. She shakes her head. Your father would be worried. There's so much we still don't know about the world out there. Let the adults find out, then maybe you can join them in a few years, when you're older. She gives you a stern look. She isn't going to budge on this one. For now, stay inside the walls. What you doing? She looks down and nudges at a sprout growing between her feet. It's green, the color of earth plants. We're doing our best, she says. But it hasn't been easy. I just hope the potatoes and corn can handle the weather here, she says, glancing up at the sky. I hear it rains like hell in the wet season. She takes a long look at you up and down. You're growing fast, Solana, but you're still too young for real farming. Instead, well, there's a lot of soil that needs to be hauled. Seeing your disappointment, she nudges you on the shoulder. Don't pout. It'll help build those muscles. You'll need them now that we're out in the real world, doing real work. Out here, we have to rely on our physical strength. She flexes her biceps. Your mom is really strong. Let's go, strong woman. Shout out to Joe Cat. What's happening in engineering? How's teaching classes on life science, engineering, and humanities? If you pass all your tests, maybe he'll let you work there in a few years. Your father thinks you're old enough to school is optional. I don't agree, but I'll be honest with you, she says, gesturing to the fields. We do need every pair of hands we can get. If you want to work with me here in geoponics, I'd suggest studying life science. If you don't have a good grasp of biology and ecology, I'm going to stick you on shovel duty. Okay, bye. Cal. Cal is riding around the geoponics gardens on his hoverboard. The board comes to a sudden shuddering stop on the rocky ground in front of you. Cal falls off, but catches his balance before he eats dirt. Hi, Solana. Real ground is way harder to hover on than ship floors. There are bumps everywhere. We all have to adapt. Yeah, Cal exclaims. Things are actually way, way better planet-side. Hovering outside is rad. Look at this. He runs over to a small depression in a nearby hill and presents it like it's something amazing. Look at this. It's a skate bowl. Can I try? Sure, but please be careful. Mom says if I break my hoverboard, we can't make another one. You take turns riding around the bowl, trying to get up enough speed going down one side to come back up the other. You don't land any tricks. It's hard just staying on the board with this uneven ground, but it's still fun. You see Tammy sitting quietly near the entrance to the lounge. You've known her for, well, your whole life. Back on the ship, you used to play with her. Tammy had the best doll collection. After her mom died, her dad used all his nanoprinter creds to print her a different doll every month for a whole year. Her ears perk up when she sees you. Oh, hello, Solana, she says. Her voice is soft and dreamy, like a beam of starlight. Do you want to play dolls? What? Sure, Tammy. You don't think Tammy will ever be too old to play with dolls? If anything, she has even more of them now. She takes you to her quarters and brings out the entire Spacey Stacy doll collection. A disturbingly realistic baby with real bowel movements. and two super fancy posable dolls named Lily and Tilly who can be programmed to move on their own. Tammy isn't very good at the programming, so Lily and Tilly just roll around awkwardly when you turn them on. You cover quickly by saying they must be breakdancing at the club. The two of you spend the afternoon making up stories of their rise to stardom as professional dancers. That's adorable. Let's go to biology. Let's go to life sciences. Good afternoon, my burgeoning biologists and up-and-coming chemists, Professor. Professor Hal welcomes you back to your old classroom. This afternoon, we'll learn what I like to call the wet sciences. He gestures to his hall-projected lesson plan. Biology, chemistry, medicine, ecology, and geology. You'll learn a little bit of everything, with opportunities to further study in your favorite field. Ooh, looking for more difficulty? This harder card challenges option will keep you on your toes. Want to focus on the story? This will replace future minigames with a quick coin flip based on your agent skills. That's different. Nice. Friendship with tangent. Early pollen. I need to rest. The ship's quarters are where everyone sleeps, eats, and hangs out. The private bedrooms are small. You share one with your parents. So colonists spend most of their time in the big common area. There's a lounge and cafeteria, and a creche where all the little kids and babies are raised communally. Let's just relax. The lounge is a long, well-lit hall along the outer hull of the ship's midsection. It's strewn with tables and cushions, and serves as a communal living room for the tiny, one-room spaces where every family is assigned. You flop down into the lounge's big beanbag pile with some of the other kids. Yeah. Apparently, trying to stream something with a lot of reading is not great when you're trying to recover from a cold. Cal has a dazed, peaceful look on his face. The air smells so good on Vertumna, and so does the dirt even. You notice his clothes are filthy, but obviously Cal couldn't care less. Anemone bounces in. Holy crap, there's so much space to run around and play in. Com and Chief Rhett set up an outdoor sports ball court, and it is way huger than the old one on the ship. Tangent carefully selects one cushion from the pile and perches on it. The school is expanding to some of the empty engineering bays, she tells you, and we're getting a big new lab to do experiments using local resources. There's so much to learn about this planet. Anemone rolls her eyes, but Tang continues. We shouldn't forget our studies just because we've landed, she says, primly. Tang's right, school is important. +2 friendship with Tangent and Tammy. Tammy nods in agreement. It's scary out there, she mumbles. I'm going to stay close to our quarters for now. You've had less of the deja vu, dreams come to life feeling this week, and you're starting to think you even imagined it. But suddenly you get a prickling sensation in the back of your neck and remember, Mars is about to enter the lounge and tell everyone to look outside. You stare at the door. Mars walks through it as if on cue. OMG. Everybody, look outside. They're hoisting a flag over command, she says, clapping her hands excitedly. You know what that means, right? She stands tall with her hands on her hips. Vertumna is officially humanity's first exocolony ever. You look out at the flag, feeling dizzy, and silently mouth the words along to what she says next. You remember this moment so well. This is history, kids, she exclaims, wrapping anemone and tangent under each arm. And we were there. Let's just keep these cards. You wake up from an afternoon nap. You squint into the pink-tinged light slanting through the windows. You must have fallen asleep in the lounge. Tammy's shadow falls across your nest of pillows. Oh, I'm sorry, Solana, she says, giggling. I didn't mean to wake you up. It's just so nice outside, with pollen sparkling in the sunlight. I wanted to open the windows. You rub your eyes blearily. Ugh. You were having the weirdest dream. Since you're awake, you should visit the cafeteria. Antecedent is making a new kind of candy. She says it's made of cotton. Isn't that weird? I have to go tidy the creche first, then I'll meet you there. Save some for me, okay? Little, beads or rocks or gemstones that are, in her hair. It's kind of cute. Tammy skips off towards the creche, humming to herself. Bro, cotton candy be cotton candy. In the cafeteria, Antecedent is cheerfully handing out masses of pink candy, puffy and soft like clouds. Oh, Solana, she says, handing you a wand with some candy spun around the end. Here, try some of this. We used to have it on Earth. You pull off a piece and give it a taste. It's so sweet at first. It's so sweet at first that your mouth puckers. You've never tasted anything so sweet and so real. It's not at all like the soy sweets that the kitchen nanoprinter can make. It melts in your mouth, leaving a gritty residue on your tongue. You wait until everyone is gone, but Tammy never shows up. You look down at the cotton candy in your hands. It's wilted a little from the humidity, but it's kind of like her hair, you think. Pale pink and so soft. You keep some to give her later. You're relaxing in your family's quarters after dinner. Your mom had to run off on some kind of council business, so you and your dad are playing a holo game together. When you're just about ready to head off to bed, your mom returns. You can tell from the defeated slant of her shoulders that something has gone terribly wrong. Your dad starts to ask her what happened, but she waves him away and reproaches you. She sits down and takes your hand, holding it between her two strong, dirt-creased ones. Solana, I'm so sorry to have to tell you this, she starts. Her mouth quivers as she swallows, working on her next words. There was an accident this afternoon, in the creche. Your friend Tammy has died. You try to understand her words. Tammy? Dead? That's not possible. You suddenly remembered the cotton candy you were saving to give Tammy. Pink and fluffy, just like her hair. You put your hand in your pocket to get it, but what comes out is a sticky, dark red lump of hard goo. You stare at it, your mind blank. Your mom tells you, as simply as possible, that Tammy was killed by an electric shock from a broken holoprojector. It was just an accident. You press her for more. For an explanation, a little girl is dead. Someone you'd grown up with, someone so much like you. She wasn't sick or anything, you just saw her this morning. She was right there. Why? Your mom's eyes are sad when she tells you. Sometimes there's just no reason why. You aren't used to dealing with death, and you don't know what you're supposed to say or do. You sort of mumble okay, then get changed and crawl into bed, a full hour before your bedtime. You try to fall asleep, but you toss and turn for hours. You eventually drift off to fitful dreams of that small, sticky red lump of cotton candy. Tang is pacing around in front of engineering. She looks upset. It shouldn't have happened, she says. Tammy's... What happened to Tammy? It shouldn't have been possible. There was no reason for that holoprojector to break. Professor Howell said it was recently serviced and nothing was wrong with it before it just... She just says angrily. It just blew up for no reason. Nobody would have wanted to hurt her, so why? How? It doesn't add up. Sorry, Solana. I want to think about this some more. I hate when I can't find the answer. Cal is sitting in your mom's flower garden with a face in his hands. He's clearly been crying all morning, and probably all of yesterday too. He and Tammy were really close. Whenever you guys used to play house in the creche, Tammy was always the mommy and Cal was the daddy. Even though you were just little kids. You kind of always giggled about how obviously they were going to be together forever. Like a princess and a knight. I miss her too. Me too, he sniffs, looking up at you. You can see how puffy and red his eyes are. Me really, really too. Tammy always liked these flowers, he mumbles. Sometimes I picked some for her. He runs his hands over the pretty white flowers. Don't tell your mom, okay? Tears well up and slowly leak out of his eyes. He doesn't even blink. Just stares at the flowers as the tears run down his cheeks. You decide to give him some space. Mars is staring into space, looking somber. She doesn't even notice as you come up beside her, and barely reacts when you say hello. I'm thinking about Tammy, she says quietly. She used to sit down the hill there, in that spot in the sun. Every morning, she'd just sit there for hours in the sun, doing nothing. Just being happy. You stare down the spot to the hill near the entrance to the quarters. You can imagine her there, working on some little craft project, humming to herself. She was so nice to everybody. And now she's dead, Mars says, making a face. How's that for fair? Of all the people, how come it had to be my friend? You don't have an answer. You've never heard Mars call Tammy her friend before, but of course she was. Tammy was everyone's scared little sister, even though she was older than most of you. Mars clicks her tongue. Oh yeah, Administrator Seek is looking for you. I guess they need someone to do delivery jobs. She waves vaguely at the door behind her, distracted by her thoughts. I found a Xeno egg. Wow. Can you believe Tammy died? Dice asks morbidly. I heard Chief Engineer Instance tell someone about it. He lowers his voice. Tammy got shocked by a broken hall projector. The one in the creche with the dancing teddy bear, you remember? When she touched it, she got chucked all the way across the room. He makes a sailing motion with his hand, and BAM! She was dead before she even landed. I didn't want to know that. Oh, sorry, Dice replies, tucking at the sleeves of his oversized jacket. I'll shut up now. Sorry. Ugh, Dice is so weird. Anemone is chucking rocks at the strato, sending metallic clangs ringing through the colony. Stupid planet, she yells. Stupid creche, stupid spaceship. She bends down to pick up another rock, but instead just sobs and braces her hands on her knees. Stupid everything. Why'd she have to die? It's not fair. Kids aren't supposed to die. Command is a warren of long hallways with doors off to the tiny, nondescript offices. Everyone you pass seems to be hurrying off to something important. The end of one hallway opens into the supply depot, which works as both requisitions office and general store. Beyond it are cavernous warehouses stacked high with supplies from Earth, now being gradually unpacked and distributed. Colony food shortfall, minus 100%, low. Colony security rating, evaluating. Notice, please wear your masks when out of doors during pollen season. Ambient particulate may trigger runny nose, watery eyes, and mild cough. Dr. Instance. Upcoming event. We will be hosting our first annual Vertumnalia festival during the second month of dust. Seek. Notice, take precautions outside the colony boundaries. Xenofauna have been sighted in the area. Survey teams are investigating. Current Council and Administration. Chief Administrator Seek, Command. Governor Udicott, Command. Security Chief Rat, Garrison. Chief Engineer Instance, Engineering. Chief Cultivator Flulu, Geoponics. Chief Steward Antecedent. Quarters. Chief Surveyor Melatonin, Expeditions. Ooh, interesting names. But I can't do the thing apparently, so. That's my stress out. The colony is going to hold a funeral for Tammy. Do you want to attend? If you don't feel up to it, you could just skip it and take the month off instead. Or you could go back to work. I'll attend. The colonists gather in the recycling room. Bringing organics down to be recycled here is one of your chores, but you've only come here for a funeral twice. Both times the colonists had passed away from natural causes during the 20-year-long journey from Earth. This is the first time there's been a funeral on Vertumna, and this is the first time for someone you actually knew. The mouth of the organics recycler has been polished and the wreath of yellow flowers placed over the opening. Inside, you see a shrouded figure. Tammy's small, fragile body. Tammy's dad, Uncle Tonin, is here, as well as your parents and antecedent, and the rest of the council. Cal is here with his mom and her partners already crying in their arms. The room is packed with people, and the feeling of grief is so thick you could taste it in your mouth. Governor Udicott stands before the assembled crowd. There are no words to ease the pain we feel today, she begins solemnly. There is only the sad company of those of us left behind to share the burden of that grief. Tammy was our child, she continues. One of the first humans to be born in space, and the first to die on an alien planet. In her short life, she exemplified the very arc of human accomplishment, bending hopefully towards life brought beyond our humble Earth. She's the first of us who can truly call Vertumna home. Her passing was as senseless as it was sudden. Losses like this are impossible to hold within oneself, a painful reminder that life is impossibly precious and fragile. But they remind us, as always, that as a community we are capable of great strength. Udicott closes the door to the recycler. You hear Uncle Tonin sob over the hum of the particle disintegrators or beginning their work. As a community, we remember Tammy. As a community, we return her body to the soil that nourishes us. In this way, Tammy, our child from the stars, will never truly be lost to us. The ceremony is adjourned, but a few people stay back to console Uncle Tonin as he keeps vigil over the recycler. Cal and Uncle Tonin hold each other and weep openly. Your mom stays behind to receive Tammy's remains. As the head of geoponics, she'll be responsible for adding them to the colony's precious supply of brown soil from Earth. Your dad accompanies you out of the recycling room. He clears his throat. I want you to know that you don't need to be okay, he says, clasping his warm hand on your shoulder. If you want to take the rest of the month off, everyone's going to understand. Just keep going. You feel better just having said goodbye. Tammy was your friend, but you feel like the best way to deal with losing her is to throw yourself into your school and work. Tangent shoots you a distracted look. Sorry, she says. I'm not really good at cheering people up. That's fine, dang. You step cautiously through the colony gates. Solana. Uncle Tonin sighs as he blocks your path. He looks like he hasn't been sleeping. I'm sorry, but you shouldn't be out here. Our children are so young and so precious. So fragile. Please stay near the ship. Just keep studying. Keep going. Solana, Tangent says, approaching you with purpose. We need to discuss my brother. Who? Dice? Yes, Dice, she says impatiently. I need you to figure out where he's been disappearing. Ever since we landed, I barely see him anymore. He doesn't even come home at night sometimes, and She trails off and looks at her feet. Well, I'm not on very good terms with my brother of late, but Well, people are becoming worried. You get the feeling Tang is the one who's worried, but she doesn't want to admit it. I'll talk to him. He probably won't tell you, Tangent says angrily. No, it's Apple, she swears. He won't even talk to me anymore. She sighs. You may have to follow him. I would, but everyone in the lab would know I was gone. No one cares where he goes during the day. Let's do some investigating. A log. You tell Dice that his sister Tangent wants to know where he's been disappearing off to. His eyes flip briefly to yours, then he stares vaguely off towards the engineering wing where his sister is reading on her holobomb between classes. He doesn't say anything. She's worried about you. She doesn't care about me, he says sullenly. Tangent's just worried she'll get in trouble if I don't come home one day. He scowls and picks at the hem of his sweater. She doesn't care about anything but her schoolwork. Dice looks down at the patch of bobbled buds sprouting from a crack in the wall. He squirms. I don't have to tell you, he says quietly. Just leave me alone. Oh, I could have given her the egg. Tangent sniffs the air. It stinks out here. Not just one stink either. Every day it's a new stink. Today it smells like... She wrinkles her nose. Like that time the waste reclamation unit broke down. Yuck. You haven't noticed the smell. She sure is sensitive. Or maybe she just likes the stale air inside the ship better. What do I want to do? Is there anything I can do in hydroponics? I should probably save at least. Oh,
Or
I
see,
didn't
we're
mean to click
talking
on
about
this.
astrology.
Oh, LMAO.
Whoop. That didn't happen. That totally just didn't happen. Anywho. Gloomy. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so geoponics. The greenhouses have different biomes inside, growing plants from earth that might belong in a desert, jungle, or temperate forest. Some are so delicate you have to spray off any germs in an airlock before you can enter. In the seasonal garden's dry soil, tiny purple weeds sprout up from the cracks and wind their way around each other, suffocating one another in an attempt to gain higher ground. That's dangerous. Alright, so what am I looking at here? I've been going to engineering and stuff for a while. I feel like I need to up my organizing. I feel like it's a thing. But I can't because I don't have organizing 10. What about Dad? What does Dad have? Well, we can't do that. And then Mom... Can't do anything there. Can't do anything there. Should I just play some sports ball? Actually, what can I do here? Relax in the lounge. Tangent's least favorite part of humanities are the days you study Earth poetry. She just doesn't get it. If the author was trying to tell us something, why didn't they just come out and say it? Studying humanities. Oh, jeez. Is it... How much of a bonus is... If a flush does that... Let's just give this a shot. That's 8. What if I do this? It's also 8. This is unfortunate. Or I do this. Just barely get it. Can I also try this? I'm a gamer. It's time for Vertumnalia. Udicott and the Council have called a festival to celebrate life here on the planet Vertumna. Everyone gathers in the colony square to hear Governor Udicott's speech. In Earth's history, Yudcott begins, then clears her throat and waits for everyone to quiet down. Ahem. In Earth's history, Vertumna was known as the god of seasons, change, gardens, and fruit. It's no coincidence that our forebears of the Vertumna Project chose to take on such an auspicious name, in the hopes of seeding future bountiful seasons of humanity. We will continue this tradition of Vertumnalia, a midsummer festival to celebrate our Vertumna, this lush planet upon which we find ourselves today. Everyone cheers and applauds. The members of the council all get up on stage one at a time to give their own short speeches. Governor Udicott announces each one. Governor Udicott, Command. Chief Administrator Seek, Command. Security Chief Rhett, Garrison. Chief Engineer Instance, Engineering. Chief Cultivator Flulu, Geoponics. Chief Steward Antecedent, Quarters. Chief Surveyor Melatonin, Expeditions. When it's your mother Flulu's turn, she announces that tonight you'll be eating some of the very first crops grown from Vertumnan soil. Your eyes go to the feast table. Aboard the Stratosphere, it would have been mostly soy-based food from the nanoprinters, spiced up with what precious fruits and vegetables could be grown in the small growing bays. This year, the Earth plants look even less robust than usual, but they're supplemented by some Vertumnan excuse me. That was so professional. They're supplemented by some Vertumnan plants you've come to appreciate. Juicy potato pods and slabs of edible fungi. Udicott takes the stage after everyone on the council has said their piece. What is a festival without festivities? She asks. Professor Hal and Security Chief Rhett have organized a 3-part competition for the kids. Good luck, children. Which one do you join? I mean, I'll just join the science fair. Easy enough. Tangent competes, of course, entering her study of the ship's hydro recycling system. It was previously used to make urine drinkable, but she offers that it could now be turned to new uses. Despite how many times she says the word pee, it's still boring, but she put a lot of effort into it. Your turn next. The judges are all really very interested in what you're bringing to compete against Tangent. Okay. Story challenges have 3 rounds instead of 1. After every round, you'll keep the cards you didn't play and unlock an extra slot to play them in. Losing isn't always a bad thing in story challenges. If I need a... Oh, jeez. Dang. Well, I got the kudos, so at least I tried. Tangent wins. She accepts her prize with grace, having expected nothing less. Your baking soda volcano was much less impressive than you imagined. It just kind of fizzes, and you don't explain it very well. It's pretty clear your dad helped. Maybe next year. After the festivities are over, everyone takes time off for a much-needed break. During the fierce heat of dust, a few days' rest is exactly what you need. You feel refreshed. Let's play some sports ball. We haven't played sports ball in a while. Hey, Sev. Tammy's dead. I kind of feel like I'm just doing a lot of the same stuff. I'm gonna change it up a little bit. Let's play some sports. Anemone meets you on the court. She's bouncing from one leg to the other in excitement. My brother Calm is organizing the youth team, she tells you. His name is Kombucha. Kombucha offers you a high-fiving greeting, then tosses a sports ball your way. Let's start with a practice game to see what you're good at. You and Anemone are team captains. Pick your team. Calm will fill in to even up the teams, but he promises to go easy on the other side. Let's go with Cal. Mind if I play goalie, he asks. Sports ball is fun, but I don't really like to score against the other team. Anemone chooses Kombucha, of course. They bump fists. Your next choice? Mars. I'll play Spiker. Mars runs to take position. Seems like she's in it for the glory. Hopefully she'll want to share some of that with the rest of the team. Oh boy, toughness challenge. Okay. Okay. Nice. Bada boom. Cal makes an amazing jump save, but is winded when the ball hits him in the chest. The score is tied, with Anemone and Calm putting the pressure on. Then blam! You score the match point with a rad spike all the way from the net line. Yeah, sports. Let's take a look at some more biology. For today's lesson, Professor Hal tells you, we'll start with a fun group project. You'll be studying the mush tree, a prominent natural resource native to Vertumna. Things are going to go wrong because it's your first playthrough, so if things mess up, it's okay. I'm assuming so because they're really putting like driving in that point of like you're getting a lot of weird visions and memories that you don't remember having. Like it's some weird time loop situation or something. So in the ideal conditions, it can grow at a speed of over a meter a day and have a diameter of up to 30 centimeters. He stands on his tiptoes and gestures to illustrate. Your team will experiment to find those ideal conditions. You are teamed up with Tang and Cal and are given a mush tree spore and a bucket to grow it in. The rest is up to you. Tang looks up Surveyor's notes on the holonet. Mush trees, she reads, are most abundant south of the colony in the stormy, moist regions of the subaqueous swamp. What if we use water instead of soil, Cal suggests, like they do with hydroponics? Tang nods. If they like wet weather, that might work. Solana, do you have any suggestions? Hammer, my boy. What's going on? Lower the water's pH. Lower pH means it's more acidic, right? And higher pH means it's more basic. So we want to balance that, I believe. If it thrives in swamps, maybe under a grow light. You lower the light so it is right over your bucket of water and plop the spore in. Every day you rush into the classroom to check on its progress. At first there's nothing, but by midweek your little mush tree shoot sprouts up and starts its journey. You raise the light gradually as it grows towards it. In the end, yours is in the middle of the pack. Since mush trees tend to grow in rainy, overcast places rather than hot, dry ones, you wonder if you might have given it too much light? Oh, this works. Boom, 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 boom. I think this is the best order. Yeah, that's all I can do. For those of you that are new, I'm playing. I was a teenage exocolonist. It is a unique visual novel that my friends have been really pushing for me to play because it's apparently very good. And so far, I've been enjoying it. It's a nice story, very dark right off the bat. Not gonna lie. Tangents is watching a construction crew build scaffolding for the new engineering pavilion. They're using mushwood, which is so light that one person can easily lift a 10-meter long pole and stack it into place. She points towards them. Human beings are so great, don't you think? Before we landed, this was all just dirty jungle. Now it's civilization. I've been learning about adaptability in writing in biology class. The books say it's what sets us apart from the animals. Like, we don't need fur because we can make warm clothes, and if it's too hot, we can make air conditioners instead. Maybe the animals have neat adaptations. Tangent rolls her eyes at you. Maybe, but even if they do, I haven't seen any sign of intelligent life here. It's just those big, dumb xenofauna. Humans rule, Xenos drool, says Tang. Literally. If there's intelligent life here, why didn't we see any cities when we landed? She scoffs. Checkmate, aliens. Together, you watch as the foreman puts the blueprints for the scaffolding onto the floating screen of her holopalm and raises it to the scaffolding to check their progress. I like to see an alien do that, Tang says primly. Humans look defenseless and weak, but we're the strongest species in the galaxy. Who else can literally bend reality to their will? Not a stupid alien, that's for sure. Hey man, Tang. Girl, you gotta chill. You gotta chill with those comments. She puts one finger to her chin. I'm living proof that humanity is greater than our biology, she says. All of us are, really, with our genetic enhancements. We're the next step in humanity's evolution from great ape to galactic superspecies. Yeah, you gotta work on your words there, Tang. I can't raise. I don't have enough perception because I don't know how to raise it. It's pouring rain, and everyone's trying to stay dry under the grass-roofed palapas. Palapus? Palapus? Everyone except Dice. Off in the distance, over at the wall near the sports ball field, he's definitely skulking. You tell Security Chief Rhett that you saw Dice up to no good behind the garrison. He's too distracted trying to put buckets under various leaks in the roof to pay you much attention. Thank you, Solana. I'll check it out later, he says, waving you off. If there's a danger to the colony, one of the lookouts will catch it. You're not so sure. You know Dice. He's very good at hiding when he doesn't want to be found. Anemone holds her stomach as you approach. Does the air here make you feel hungry all the time, or is it just me? She wonders. I feel like I could eat a whole one of them mushroom trees, just humph. She mimes, shoving a whole giant mushroom in her mouth. Do you want this stick? Oh, you know what? I think... Would you want this stick? I'll give you this dusted log. Tang shrugs. You probably should just keep it. I don't even know what I'd do with that. When you insist she keep it, she shrugs again. Sure, maybe I'll find a use for it. Dang. Well, I got points, so let's just keep studying life sciences. You each pick a native Rotundan keystone species and prepare an hour-long presentation to the class. You picked the float cow. You picked the float cow. Cal is excited. He was going to choose the float cow too. You end up working together on a slightly longer presentation, which gives Cal time to describe in gory detail all the float cow birds he's attended. The class is fascinated. Yeah. You're having a terrifying, familiar dream. A monster crashing through the walls. Unfathomably large, every part of it wriggling and moving and searching for something. It tramples through the colony as you watch helplessly. Time shifts to the wreckage of your home. You're picking through it, looking for something. Tears streaking down your dust-covered face as you lift heavy pieces of debris, searching. You wake up shouting, "No!" but your voice is drowned out by a deafening rumble from the skies outside. The bedroom window is covered in water. It's pouring down from the clouds. You guess this must be rain, but you've never experienced it before. There's a bright flash from outside, then another crack and rumble. Thunder. It must be a thunderstorm. Thunderstorm. Ninja form. Huh. It's still the early hours of the morning. You've already almost forgotten your bad dream, but you're too unsettled to go back to sleep yet. The rain beats down on the roof of your quarters, joined now and then with great peals of thunder like the footsteps of an angry beast. I'ma play in the rain. It's surprisingly warm outside, and the water feels nice hitting your head. Everything smells fresh and damp and wonderful, and the dusty packed ground has turned to squelchy mud between your toes. You don't go too far from the door to your quarters, but it's exciting being outside in the dark, watching dramatic streaks of lightning arc down to the hills behind the colony. Sure, you know what, let's shovel some dirt. It's your first day in the glorious world of agricultural soil conveyance. Oh boy. Good morning, Solana. Looks like you're working for your old lady. I hope you don't expect me to go easy on you just because you're my son. She walks you around the geoponics wing and points out where everything is. Your job is to move sod, compost, plants, garden waste, and equipment from one place to another. Get comfortable with this, she said. Get comfortable with this, she says, pushing a squeaky, old-fashioned wheelbarrow towards you. Ah, I can read. Now, any questions before we start moving that dirt? Why don't we have machines for this? Or don't we have machines for this? The construction crews already claimed all the hoverlifts, she says, shrugging, but they'll break down in a few years anyways, and we don't have the materials to fix them. She grips your forearm. We're planet side now. Use your muscles. Nature's hydraulic pistons. Why not use hydroponics? On the ship, we grew most of our plants with their roots in the water, and it's true it was more hygienic that way, your mom replies. She brushes an insect off her arm, which lets out a loud squeak of objection. But hydroponic systems use too much energy. Here we have to grow as much as we can the old-fashioned way. Let's get to work. Your arms start to ache, but after the first half hour of work, but you keep going. By the end of the month, you feel utterly drained and exhausted. And good somehow. You can feel your muscles growing already. Nice. Utterly useless, but... Ooh. Oh, I accidentally got a straight in there too. Nice. Wow, that's a lot of points I just won. Yeah, I'm gonna let, is there any bits that I can pick up off the floor? And that's Jasper. You're looking a little worn out, my little firefly. Your dad greets you, looking concerned. You know, despite what your mom might say, there is such a thing as too much work. Maybe some R&R over in the lounge would help recharge those solar cells. What do you say? Maybe I just need a hug. Your dad throws his arms wide. Well, get in here, Tiger Butter. That's a... What? Tiger Butter? After a long hug, you do feel better. Your dad gives incredible hugs. Yeah, I'll get the break. The ship's quarters are where everyone sleeps, eats, and hangs out. You organize a raid on the kitchen pantry for snacks. They want to be free. You must liberate them. The days have been getting shorter, with only the yellow sun barely skimming the horizon. One morning, you wake in the darkness and have to check your holopalm to know what time it is. You see a holostream from Mars. Good morning to all my pals, if you can even call it morning. They've named it glow season because, like, everything is crazy glowing out there in the dark. I'm staying the heck inside for the next month. What's the point in even going out if you can't even see anything? It's gonna be a long, boring month. Okay, but it look cool out there though. You peek out the window. The wormhole is the biggest you've ever seen it, like a massive, fiery ring in the sky. The planet must be very close to it now. Out in the jungle, something new is taking place. The plants are flowering, glowing iridescent blooms, and everything is full of life. There are strange new sounds, long hooting calls and gurgling roars. After Mars' message is a notice from the council, warning everyone to stay safe inside. Tammy's dad and the other surveyors have been called back and the gates closed for the month. There's a tension in the air, as if everyone is waiting for something. So pretty. Dice is staring off into the wilderness outside the gates. Feels different, he mumbles. Dunno how. Just different. You ask him what he means, but he just shakes his head and stuffs his hands in his pockets. Anemone blinks at you in the dark. It's so creeptacular, she breathes. It's perfect for hide and seek. Maybe perfect, but maybe not. Let's get that reasoning. Let's get that reasoning nice and neat. Hi kids. The ship's onboard intelligence, Congruence, glides into the room on her ceiling track and the class cheers. Congruence is so cool. She's like a person, but also a machine. She knows a lot of jokes and can tell you anything about space. She never gets bored or frustrated by your questions. You all know me, she says, but I'll bet some of you have questions about how I work. What do you want to know? How do you know so many things? My brain is big, she explains. It's just enormous, really. Much bigger than this little monitor you see here, and it's connected to the ship's holonet, so anything you can look up to your holopalms, I just know. What's your job? Well, right now, part of me is showing animal videos to children in the creche, and part of me is here teaching you, but most of me is monitoring the engines which give us power, and the life support systems that make it comfortable in here. She laughs, which has never sounded quite the same as a real person's laugh to you. I guess you could say... Oof. I guess you could say I eat electricity, but not in the same way you get energy from food. But no, I have never pooped. I think it sounds kind of neat, actually. Congruence explains that she had to do all kinds of calculations to help fly the ship and land it, and that she was designed to provide a user-friendly interface to the ship's systems. But Hal has modded me to be far more than that, she says proudly. Now I can even tell jokes. Why did the computer cross the road, she asks. I don't know. Congruence smiles widely. 0101010001101111. I'm not gonna do all that. Actually, I will, because bits. 1111000000110011001110. No, actually, no. Never mind. What I will, however, translate this whole thing. Binary text. All of this for one punchline. For a punchline. Wait, what? Did he type that wrong? Zero 011001111 011000101. I'm absolutely going to commit to translating this. 011101010 001000000 0110001 0010000 0110010 01111 001 0111010 0100101 0110100. Does this just say get a bite to eat? Yep. Yep, that's what that means. It's to get a bite to eat. Let's get to work. Boom, 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 boom. Cool. Reasoning is at 30. It's daytime when the emergency sirens start up. Well, what passes for day. It's still nearly pitch black except for an eerie green twilight glow on the horizon. You look towards the gates. They're open. Wait, they shouldn't be open. The alert blares out of every speaker in the colony. It's the same one you used for hull breaches and fires, and in space, it meant you were supposed to go to the nearest emergency shaft and put on a spacesuit. On Vertumna, it means to go to an assembly point and wait for instructions. The closest assembly point is the children's creche, but from the opposite direction you hear shouting and loud popping noises. Gunfire. Is the colony under attack? I'm gonna hide in the creche. You find Dice in the creche and join him in hiding under the arts and crafts table. The lights are dim. You scared? He asks quietly. Yeah. Dice shrugs. I thought it would be, but I'm not, he says. I'm not scared of stuff like this. You can't help but glance at the hollow projector on the wall. The one that electrocuted your classmate Tammy earlier this year. The glowing bear looms over the room and for a moment looks more like a monster than a toy. You grew up here. It feels weird to be hiding here like you're just little kids again. You hear more gunfire and yelling, but within half an hour they play the all-clear tone. Chief Surveyor Tonin comes in to let you know it's all safe now as the lights come back on. Oops. You glance at the hologram teddy bear again. Tonin was Tammy's dad. How can he be sure it's safe? How can you be sure anything is safe? You're relieved when your parents arrive with an ashen-faced Cal. They won't talk about what happened at Geoponics. After 2 weeks of darkness with the blue sun barely skimming the horizon, it begins to move higher in the sky and daytime returns. The council admits they don't know how the gates were opened, or how the creatures got in. Some of the attacking creatures were once thought to be docile. Others were species nobody had seen before. It was like something had driven them to assault the colony. At least nobody was killed. This time. Childhood is fleeting. The game will end when you reach age 20, so you should focus on a few skills to improve and friends to spend time with. Use the skills and friends button at the top left of the screen to keep track of them. Good luck. This is a summary of the... yeah. Tangent is standing still with her face held up to the sky, letting blue snowflakes land on her cheeks. Hey, I survived the first year. Well, I was about to say a joke, but that was not a good one. Pretty sure, yeah. We're just gonna not. We're just gonna not say it. It melts almost immediately. She doesn't move at you as you approach. After a minute, she winces and rubs her eyes. It stings, she says, because it's made of acid. Acid snow? Tang nods. Professor Howell says it isn't harmful and is an important part of the natural cycle here. It freezes at 12 degrees Celsius and turns into tiny crystals that are so heavy they fall from the clouds. Clouds. You can see them under a microscope. She sticks her tongue out and lets some of the flakes fall on it. It tastes kinda sour, but sweet, she observes. Fascinating. Tang pulls a sample jar out of her coat. We know what it's made of, but our understanding is incomplete, she says, and places the jar on an outcropping of rocks. The big mushrooms changed in shape and color before the snow began to fall. I wonder, is there some sort of signal that precedes the changing of the seasons? What happens if I expose samples collected in dust season to snow from quiet season? A small, excited smile creeps across Tang's face. There's so much to learn about this planet. I can't wait. Well, it wants me to focus on a skill, I'll focus on a skill. Let's go to class. You're bringing supplies to medbay when you see something unusual. Tangent curled up on a bench, her head pillowed on a rolled up lab coat. She's fast asleep. You stop and stare. You never see Tang sleeping. She's always so busy. You're surprised she even has time to nap. You turn to leave her in peace when you bump into Anemone. Whoa, Anemone says. She hardly ever sleeps. Like, just a couple hours a night. Is she sick or something? You look back at Tangent, snoozing peacefully. I'm so jealous of her genetic enhancement, Anemone says, rubbing out one of the scales sprouting on her jawline. She hardly needs to sleep at all. She probably stayed up all night studying for this morning's history test. Let's let her sleep. Tang's hollow palm beeps a soft alarm. She sits up and stretches, looking totally refreshed and alert. She sees you watching her and looks annoyed. Just a power nap, she says. No reason to gawk. Ooh, hello. Alright, bet. Go. First steps, discovering. Boom. Bonuses everywhere. As you get older, challenges can have conditions. The challenge suit determines what conditions can appear and which decks will work best. Try to collect social cards if you want to win battles for social skills. Oh. So much has happened in the last month since the monster attack during Glow. The idea of this planet as a peaceful utopia has been shattered. The security squads are training new members and keeping close watch on the gates now. They're reinforcing the walls and even installing a few robotic turrets. In class, you have drills on what to do if the colony is attacked again. In all the excitement, you forgot today was your birthday. Your parents haven't forgotten. They wake you up early with enthusiastic shouts of "Surprise!" For Tumnan year is only a little longer than a year on Earth, so you've taken up its calendar for birthdays. Yours is in the second month of quiet. Spark snow drifts slowly past your porthole window as you snuggle with your dad. Your mom climbs up too and sits on the edge of your bed. Your dad pulls a full bowl of fruit from behind his back with a flourish, like a magic trick. At least, you think it's fruit. What are those? Bobber fruit, your dad grins. The foragers have been picking these almost just outside the walls. They might look funny, but they're tasty. Try one. You take a cautious bite. The pulp is soft and tastes a bit like lemon, only more blue. I bet you can't wait to join the surveyors out there, your dad says wistfully. Who knows what else you'll find. Solana is not allowed outside the gates, your mom interrupts, her voice sharp. It's too dangerous for kids. Well, I know, but eventually, your dad says, but your mom cuts him off again. But not now, your mom replies. Not since the attack. Not with everything we know is out there now. Your parents exchange a heavy look. The surveyors knew there was something dangerous out there we hadn't encountered yet, your mom admits, after a guilty silence. But we didn't know it would attack the colony. We thought if we closed the gates and stayed inside, it wouldn't see us as a threat. We didn't want to scare anyone, you dad adds. The little fix might be needed there. It was just a precaution. Even still, your mom says, it's clear that everyone should know how to defend themselves if it happens again. To be clear, this includes knowing when to run away, your dad adds. Security Chief Rhett's offering self-defense lessons at the garrison, you know. Even for kids. If you're interested, you should drop in sometime. Your mom gives you a stern look. And I've heard stories of kids sneaking outside the walls, she says grimly. If I catch you doing that, I'm gonna put a chip in your ear. You laugh. What a good joke. Your mom doesn't laugh. Me? Never. Yeah, you better never, your mom retorts, crossing her arms. Bro, that stuff sounds dangerous. Why would I go out? That stuff crazy dangerous, bro. Where do I redeem these kudos points, actually? I'm not 25 already. Let's up our bravery. You run into Cal and Anemone on the hill behind the garrison at a small construction site. They seem to be throwing logs. There are a bunch of them lying at the bottom of the hill. It's a caber toss, Anemone shouts to you, then grunts with the effort of lifting a 6-meter long mush tree pole. She throws it like a javelin down the hill and sprints after it. My best record, she shouts, and ties a piece of caution tape to the end of the pole. Your turn next, Cal says, pointing to a neatly stacked pile of construction poles behind you. From the looks of the new nearby construction, they're probably destined to be a new lookout tower someday. Let's go with let's take a big one. Challenge mode, wee-oo, wee-oo. Cal makes a noise like a siren. He shouts down to Anemone. Solana's gonna throw a biggin, so you better get out of the landing zone. The pole isn't actually that heavy, but its length makes it hard to balance. You struggle to get underneath it with your knees bent. This is gonna be tough. Oh, this is interesting. The middle card becomes a 2. Oh, okay, here we go. Hmm. What happens if I... Well, that was worth a try. Wasted an item, though. You fumbled your throw, and the pole only makes it halfway down the hill, rolling a little before it comes to a stop with the others. Bonus points for rolling, Cal announces, and Anemone finds another piece of caution tape to mark your bowl. You play for the rest of the afternoon, adding rules and variations as you go. You don't stop until the entire stack of poles are in a jumble at the bottom of the hill and decorated festively with caution tape. It's a wonder you got away with this. I tried. Ugh, let's get rid of that stress. It's nice to take some time off to chill after the stress of school and work, not to mention the mental toll of just living on this unpredictable planet. Looks like you're not the only one who needs some downtime. Some of the other kids are also relaxing in the lounge. Okay, but you do stink, you hear Mars defend herself. It's not my fault that you can't tell. Maybe your nose stopped working, but the rest of us can smell it, and... She waves her hands in front of her nose and makes a PU gesture, then turns to you. He smells awful, right, Solana? Let's not be a bully. You make a show of sniffing the air around Dice as he stands uncomfortably still. His clothes are a little dirty, but he smells fine to you. Kinda faintly boyish, like leaves and grass. You tell this to Mars. Leaves and grass, ew, yes, she says, nodding. That's exactly what I meant. If you think that smells good, you're both hopeless. Kind of. Tangent is deep in conversation with one of the other scientists. He seems to be consoling her, though Tangent's face betrays no emotion as he claps her on the shoulder and reassures her that she's doing really well for someone so young, and that everyone compromised some of their samples when they were first learning. He leaves, and Tangent sighs as she goes to put her head in her hands, stopping short when she realizes she's still wearing gloves. She peels them off and digs her fingers into her eyes. You okay, Tangent? I'm fine, Tangent replies immediately. I compromised an experiment I was working on because the vent was still open when I was spraying the workstation down with sanitizer. She sniffs. It's so gross here, she says. I probably did that fungus a favor. Tangent takes a bottle of sanitizer from under her workbench and cleans while she speaks. There are pollen spores everywhere, she whines. And he comes over here and tells me it'll be okay, Tang. Like it's his job to console and patronize me. I know the dialogue choice here is to like be on her side and be like, no, it's not right. But it is genuinely okay to make mistakes. I'll just be on her side for this. Is there a way to backtrack options? No. You both sigh in unison. I hate being young, she says bitterly. Why don't they understand that we have higher expectations for ourselves than they do? I need to learn from my own failures. What I don't need, she continues icily, is someone to pat me on the head and tell me it's okay and the adults will make it all better. I messed up, she says. Just let me fix it. Don't make a big deal about it like I'm a child with a boo-boo. You meet your dad adjusting a watering pot in your mom's flower garden. He's having a sneezing fit, his eyes running in red. You're alarmed. You've never seen him look sick before. People were hardly ever ill on the stratospheric, except sometimes when the zero-G rooms made them queasy. Not to worry, my little beanstalk, he says nasally. I'll be fine. It's just this pollen making my head a little stuffy. He wipes his nose with a handkerchief and looks around. Everywhere you turn, the air was soupy and tinged with pink from all the floating pollen. On Earth, your dad tells you, we used to call this hay fever. Even though it had nothing to do with hay, your mom cuts in, carrying a large bouquet of flowers. The native flowers seem to be in full bloom this time of year. She buries her nose deep in them. And they smell fantastic. Your dad smiles kindly and agrees that they sure are beautiful. Then he blows his nose loudly. They do smell good, and they look harmless. Your dad's eyes look so sad, but maybe that's just the allergies. Hey, Solana, I know the last few weeks have been very hard for you. This might be a good time to relax and stick around in the quarters wing. But I already done that though. How much bravery do I have? 5. Not a lot. Let's keep building that up. Mars may not be as skilled as sports ball player as an enemy, but she plays hard. She orders people around like a team captain, but she isn't so great at passing the ball. She'd rather be the star. Her favorite thing is to spike the ball right into the opposing net stop's body. It's not a legal move, but she's done it so many times that the opposition now stands farther back when Mars has the ball, which is exactly what she wants. Did you see that? Anemone complains to you. Alright, good night, Sav. Thanks for stopping by. I gotta figure out how to adjust the size of the chat box. Oh well, that's for another time. Anemone complains to you during a break. Mars wouldn't pass the ball to either of us for 10 whole minutes. Somebody has to do something. Anemone looks at you questioningly. Let's just not pass her the ball. For the rest of the game, you and Anemone pass to each other and ignore Mars. She notices, but just assumes you want to be the star too and doesn't give you any hassle. The thing you've learned with Mars is that she loves to be the best, but she doesn't have the kind of ego that makes her mean about it. It doesn't really solve the problem, but it's kind of fun anyway. Oh, that was not the optimal hand, apparently. Oh well. Let's do some humanities. Ugh, I don't know if I can keep this up. There's some sort of emergency in engineering that requires Hal's attention, so today's class will be taught by the ship's artificial intelligence, Congruence. Good morning, Congruence chirps. Today we're going to talk about the formation of the Rotunda Group and our decision to leave Earth. It's a very exciting topic, and we think you're finally ready to hear about it. Let's dig in. You know how it started. Economic and environmental instability, coupled with deeply entrenched hatreds, had thrown the Earth into chaos. And you know how it ended. In that chaos, your parents formed the Rotunda Group with a plan to leave Earth. 20 years later, and their star-born children, you, slid through a wormhole and ended up here, on a planet you called Rotunda. But there's so much you don't know. Congruence pulls up a hollow projection of an unassuming human with a firm maternal gaze. This is Planktonic Ascendant Wang Botha Schmidt, she says, the spiritual leader of the Rotunda movement. They were what people called a speculative fiction writer. The Rotunda project proved that their writing, though speculative, was far from fiction. Yes, Congruence tells you, their best-selling novel, Life Beyond the Einstein-Rosen Bridge, told the story of a fictional utopia on the other side of the real-life anomaly at the edge of the solar system. Scientists have been investigating the wormhole for years, but it took a poet to imagine we could travel through it. Wang Botha Schmidt's writings centered around the idea of humanity building a technological utopia on another world. Translated to 100 languages, this was a compelling idea to people at the time, so fans started connecting in vert space. Far from just a book club, these people bonded over mutual aid amid the increasing unrest in their own countries. They were committed to Wang Botha Schmidt's idea of a future where everyone is treated equally without prejudice. But they realized it couldn't be done online. Congress tells you, though committed to social justice, the group saw the impossibility of forming a truly egalitarian society while also reckoning with their own implicit biases and the diverse context of their real lives. You realize that this was the work of generations, and the solutions must look to the future, as Wang Botha Schmidt did. The image of a squat concrete building with a rooftop garden replaces Wang Botha Schmidt. Around the edges of the classroom, the holoprojector gives the impression of towering walls topped with razor wire. The first Vertumna colony, Congruence tells you. 400 people volunteered to sacrifice their own cultural beliefs to walk through these doors, agreeing to come up with a new way of life that would be taught to their children. Babies were conceived from egg and sperm donors chosen by lottery and raised communally like you as the second generation of the Vertumna group. Those babies were your parents. So they mixed their DNA. The holoprojection now shows the compound under siege. As more colonies were founded, word got out about the Vertumna group's social experiments. Congruence continues. Assimilationism was an unpopular ideology at the time, but because it had been used to commit terrible genocides on Earth. This, combined with panic that the Vertumna group was destroying the family unit or raising an army of gene tech super soldiers, brought the colony under attack from all sides. Everyone fears what they don't understand. The image of the burning compound is replaced with the stratospheric on a launch pad. Luckily, the next phase of the Vertumna project was ready to launch. 100 colonists were selected to leave Earth on a colony ship to seed a far-flung corner of the universe with a new human culture. She smiles. The ultimate goal of the Vertumna group was you, children, she says. A generation raised completely unburdened by troubles that plagued Earth. Isn't that lovely? Orbital voyages were a hobby for the ultra-rich in an earlier century, so there were several relics to be found in museums I accidentally clicked. The difficulty was not in acquiring a ship, but in making it spaceworthy and in the logistics of the staff of the launch itself. The group crowdsourced enough funding to purchase and repair the ship. Congruence smiles. As for logistics, well, you are speaking to the solution right now. I was acquired by connected group members along with the gene tech that created you and your parents. The Stratospheric was the first manned vessel to navigate the wormhole at the edge of the solar system. Given the state the Earth was in when I left, it may have been the last. What was Earth like? Terrible. Congruence shows you some dire demographics. The institutions that had given people the illusion of safety were torn down, and wars were rampant, both resource-based and ideological. Large parts of the Earth were rendered uninhabitable by climate change, pollution, and nuclear war, especially the critical food-growing regions of the world. The Vertumna group weren't the only ones trying to escape Earth, but as far as we know, we are the only success. So nobody on Earth was like us? The Vertumna group members have a unique culture, Congruence replies, but it's formed from a combination of many heritages from Earth. Even the language you speak, Esperanto, was invented to bring people together. And don't worry, Congruence exclaims, you brought your best heritage with you. You're humans. Your head is so stuffed with ideas it might burst. Professor Hal and your parents never mentioned this stuff before. They waited to tell you because they wanted you to grow up without feeling different based on your genetic makeup or family history. It's hard to imagine having a different culture than your neighbors. You wonder what it's like. Everyone's celebrating different holidays, eating different foods, speaking different languages. Are you missing out? Or are you better without it, like the original colonists believed? It's hard to say, as the decision was made for you long before you were born. All you can do is be the best Solana you can be. Okay, that's a lot to take in. Like that's genuinely a lot of lore to have to take in. Hmm. Oh, wait. No, I don't think that would work either. You're finishing breakfast in the common area when Marzipan struts in. Look at you, eating cereal, she says, turning up her nose at you. I'll bet you don't even know what today is. Is it your birthday? No, you dummy, she exclaims, swatting her shoulder. My birthday is in the first month of wet season. You better remember that. Today, she announces to the room, is St. Valentine's Day. Dice and Cal wander over to hear more. Oh boy. Back on Earth, Mars explains, it was a day when everybody had to give their best friend a gift, especially sweets. And then you put the sweets under your pillow and it makes you dream about who you're going to marry. And there are decorations of hearts and arrows and pigs. Cal laughs. Pigs? We don't even have pigs here. Before Mars can answer, Dice snorts. This is dumb. Marzipan just made it up to get free candy. He rolls his eyes and walks away. As he leaves, Mars shouts at his back, well, nobody was going to pick you anyway. You stink. I know who my best friend will be. Mars bats her eyes jokingly. Oh, really? Who could it be? She asks playfully. I'm gonna tell all the other kids about it, Mars says, so you go around and find your best friend and give them a gift. She points her finger at you. Make sure you do it by the end of the day or it doesn't count. And if too many people want to be my best friend, she adds, I'll hold tryouts for the position. It's only fair. She tosses her hair over her shoulder and laughs. Wait, I gotta get a gift. 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 I gotta get her a gift. I gotta get her a gift. Where's the shop? Where's the shop at? Do I need sweets? Do I actually need to get sweets? Tangent is waving her hands vigorously in the air. She's playing a study game on her holopalm where you have to match following numbers into correct equations. She barely notices you come up. I want to save. I have a feeling... Okay, good thing I saved. Tang pauses the game and her eyes focus on you. I think the concept is childish, and if I did have to pick a best friend, I'd want someone I could study with. Someone who cares more about learning. Sorry. She goes back to her game. She doesn't look sorry. And that's why we save, friends. That is why we save. Logically, we should be friends. You lay out the reasoning. Strengthen the numbers, deal making as a foundation for human society, and so on. Tang pauses the game and her eyes focus on you. Best friends? That sounds so childish. But I suppose as smart kids should stick together, and it will make Mars stop asking me if I've chosen a best friend yet. She goes back to her game. I accept your proposal. Nailed it. Mars is in a huff. Ah, because you didn't pick her for Valentine's Day? Seems like nobody picked her. She crosses her arms and scowls at you. You chose Tang? Over me? She doesn't even like people. What are you going to do, be study buddies? Boring. Whatever, Mars mutters, tossing her hair. I'm just too mature for kids my age. The older kids get me, even if you don't. Okay. Chief Administrator Seek greets you at the depot. They look you up and down. Solana. You've never struck me as particularly responsible or organized, but children never are. What makes you think you'd be a good fit for the position of courier? You didn't realize there's going to be a job interview. Save again. We'll see about that. But lucky for you, you're the only applicant this week. You got the job. For now, anyway. Wait, what happens if I pick the other one? Oh, that's it. Yes, I can increase my organization like this. Seek sends you all around the colony delivering supplies. During your first week, it's mostly small things you can carry by hand or push on a little cart, stuff like tools and electronics. Some are high priority, which means you have to move fast. It's fun getting to yell, "Important delivery coming through," and people actually get out of the way. Random card locked in one slot. Okay. Bada boom. Nailed it. I need reasoning 4 or greater. My reasoning is at 31. Therefore, humanities. Or maybe it's the wrong one. Much of the premise of the game relies on replayability and remembering what happened in previous lives. Save scumming is counterproductive and even game breaking in some cases. I mean, I'm aware of the replayability, but like, it's small bits. These feel really small in comparison. Classroom's projector breaks down mid-lesson, and Hal pivots the lesson to make it about how to fix a 3D hologram projector instead. Read that wrong, but oh well. He explains that because holoprojectors are so complicated, the colony can't just make a new one. Things like holoprojectors, hoverboards, and gene tech need to be fixed, not just replaced like they would have been back on Earth. Oh, that's another locked card. +1 to mental cards perk. Blue cards get +1. Okay, cool. It's time once more for Vertumnalia. The mood of the colony has been muted this year, ever since the attack during Glow, though everything is still cheerfully decorated and the feast table is still heavy with food, mostly soy rations. This Vertumnalia just feels different in a way you can't describe. The colonists gather in the square for Governor Udicott's speech. What a year Vertumna has given us, the governor begins in her weedy voice. I stand before you, so proud of everything the colony has accomplished in such a short time. I've always hoped that we would bring with us the best facets of humanity, cooperation, resilience, and creativity, and the events of this year have given me no reason to doubt my convictions. These creatures were unexpected, but I urge everyone to consider what it means for life here. If Vertumna can sustain megafauna, then that means conditions are good for us as well. Our friends in geoponics are already working on the logistics of domesticating the wildlife. Your dad, as second cultivator, stands and gives a sheepish wave to the crowd. There is a smattering of applause. Oh. There it is. Mars elbows you. Hey, she whispers. Did you hear? My dad say Udicott's gonna announce the depot's open to the public. You shoot her a questioning look, and she rolls her eyes. You know, shopping? Somewhere to spend all the kudos we've been saving up? There's gonna be candy and toys and makeup and nice-smelling soap, not the boring kind in the communal showers. You know the concept of shopping. They do it in the holovids from Earth, especially the ones Mars likes, but you've never actually done it. The colony provides everything you need, but it would be nice to buy yourself a treat. My dad's given me an allowance, Mars says, shooting you a look of pity. It's too bad your parents make you work for yours. You and Mars tune back into the speeches just as Udicott, as predicted, announces the opening of the general store at the depot. Mars gives you a knowing look as she claps. Udicott gestures for the council members to stand. Finally, the council remains unchanged from last year. We are, as always, proud to serve you and the colony as your government. The music starts up as Governor Udicott finishes. Thank you for all your hard work and your perseverance this year, she says over the ruckus. Together, we build the future. This requires reasoning. This requires toughness. But toughness is quite small. My reasoning, quite big. Brain, large. Your competitor for the science fair is, predictably, Tangent. Her project is on the tensile strength of various building materials, concluding that mushwood is the best choice when you consider not just strength, but also sustainability and ease of use. The judges want to know what you've been working on. Okay, this is solid. Interesting. Okay. Mm-hmm. Booyah. And I got a kudos. In secret, You've been working on a social experiment about delayed gratification. You've been sneakily studying the adults, taking notes on their snacking habits and their mood. You found out that Seek and Dr. Instance rarely eat sweets, but Utopia and Antecedent do all the time. You correlate this with their attention span when you see them tackling frustrating problems. You know, problems you can control and repeat, like if a child backtalks to them. The judges are impressed with your methodology. Instance perhaps a little begrudgingly. They award you first place. After the festivities are over, everyone takes time off for a much needed break. Mars organizes a water fight that takes over the whole colony, even the adults. It brightens everyone's spirits, even in the thick heat of dust. You end up on top of the western wall with dice, launching water-filled poof shrooms down on the unsuspecting anemone in the sports ball court below. The walls seem like a neat place to hang out and relax, much quieter than the lounge if you're looking for some solitude. I'm gonna buy me some stuff, cause I got 34 kudos. Yeah. Oh wow. This is expensive. Definitely getting a book. And maybe want to buy maybe a gardening trowel as well. Man, I gotta work. Let's up persuasion and creativity. Let's get those humanities going. Ooh. You're doing creative writing in teams, and you're paired with Mars. You wish it was Tang, she always does so well in these. The theme is Earth's natural environment. Mars takes a topic at face value and wants to write about how beautiful everything was on Earth, with blue skies and green plants everywhere, and huge oceans that went forever. It always looks gorgeous in the carefully staged movies you've seen on holovids. This is very conditional, but this has a flat value, but this has, I think, has more synergy potential. I'm gonna try it. Ooh, plus 10 kudos. Mars takes a creative part of creative writing literally, describing Earth's lush forests and verdant plains and deep, jewel-like oceans with a reverence bordering on the obscene. She's pretty passionate about it, so you let her do most of the work. Mars insists she gets to present it to the class. This, too, is a good idea. Mars is a born presenter. You aren't sure that it's totally based on facts, but it is received well by both your classmates and your teacher. You get a handful of kudos for doing well. Oh, the card becomes 2. So let's swap this around. Wait, what? That could have been better, but Nice little peek at Discord real quick. Anybody got any events that I can do? I might need to take a break soon because my throat is kind of dying. But also, it is almost time for me to eat dinner. I also need to upgrade my... Alright. Let's go for life sciences. Professor Hal tells you about how people on Earth would learn about reproduction on the social level before they learn about the science of how it all works. He says that if you're lucky, because if this were an Earth class, you'd probably all be carrying around triplets and pretending they're babies in an attempt to scare you off of prematurely reproducing. Sounds ridiculous. Even if you could accidentally reproduce, which you can't, it's not like you'd have to take care of the baby on your own. The whole colony would help raise it. Wait, I don't get a kudos? Because I didn't play the other two cards? Come on. Oh, it's early what? That means it's Mars' birthday. Mars' birthday, isn't it? Okay. Oh, you know what? I could give Anemone the stick. Boom. Okay, maybe she wasn't into it. So then I trapped it in my room, Anemone says, telling you all about the bug she saw in her quarters. Its wings were as big as my hand and it had feelers like, whoa! It was bouncing all over the place, like boing, boing, boing. She gestures excitedly, swinging her arms over her head. The bugs here are so big, and they're everywhere. I was gonna give it to Tang, she says. She loves gross bug stuff, but she said I should just let it go, because if it stung me, I might get weird mutant powers. I mean, other than the one I already have. And I wanted to see if I got more weird mutant powers, so I started jumping around off higher and higher things until I was jumping off the back of the ship, and I got in so much trouble. But it wasn't even that high. She stops in her tracks. Hold on, she says, stooping to rub irritably at her knees for probably the 100th time in the past 5 minutes. Ugh, I'm gonna die. I busted up my knees and it's so scratchy when my scales grow in. Annie, don't pick at it. Chief Steward Antecedent's voice rings out across the garrison yard. Pleasant but firm. It instantly transports you back to being in the ship Grace, tugging on her skirts and calling her auntie. Anemone jumps and stands up straight, her hands flying to her sides. But Mom, Anemone whines, digging her fingers into her knees as Antecedent approaches you both. It's so scratch-tastically itchy. I know, lovely, Antecedent soothes her, patting down her riotous red hair. But the more you pick at it, the thicker your scales are going to grow in. Anemone tucks her hands under her armpits to keep from scratching. What if I want to have cool scales? She pouts. Antecedent smiles indulgently. At the rate you're going, I'm sure you'll be covered in them before you know it. No need to rush. Anemone's skin is dotted with patches of protective blue-green scales that grow in wherever she gets a cut or scrape. She rubs the patch on her jaw indignantly. one she got when she ran headfirst into the food synthesizer back on the ship. So wait. Augment is... oh. That's actually kind of rad. Antecedent opens her satchel and pulls out a bundle of clothes. The queue for the nanoprinter is over a week long, so I patched your pants with scraps from your brother's clothing. Please, try not to put any more holes in them, or yourself, okay? She hands the clothes to Anemone and kisses her on her forehead. Anemone sticks out her tongue and gags. Yuck. Anemone evaluates the clothes as her mom walks away. Galactic, she breathes as she runs her fingers over the odd-colored patches. Then, right there in the middle of the yard, she unashamedly squirms out of her pants and pulls on the new ones. Wow! I look like a fighter jet from the Hollows, she exclaims, showing off her new pants. Like when they'd stencil your kill count on your plane. Or like a really cool scar. Anemone grins. Yeah, you get it. My pants are scarred, just like me. Let's get up in that engineering or something. Biology still. This week in biology class, you're learning about predators and prey. Professor Hal brings up a picture of a hopeye up on the holoprojector and asks, "Who can tell me what special thing hopeyes do when they see a predator?" Tang's hand shoots up. They hop away very quickly. That's why we called it a hopeye. Ooh, that's cool. But my animals needs better. That's true, but not what I was getting at. Tang stammers and looks upset, like she can't believe she got something wrong. Hal scans the class again. Anyone else? Solana? They fly away? Oh. You stammer after being put on the spot and say the first thing that comes to mind. That might work, Hal smiles, but hopeyes don't have wings. He gestures to the picture of one right in front of you on the holoprojector. You feel pretty dumb. They thump their feet to warn other hopeyes in the area. Then they hop away very quickly. You look over to see Tang smirking at you. You both got it wrong, but she still thinks she's better than you. Fair enough. There we go. Well, I lost a point. Let's go for engineering. Oh, that's old hat. Hal has been called away for a council meeting, so Congruence is filling in. She tells you that today you'll be learning about the history of capitalism on Earth. You mean why humans used to have nice things and now we just eat mashed trippet and soy cakes? Mars says, smugly. Please. Earth humans might have messed everything up, but at least they had style. Ever patient, Congruence ignores Mars's contribution and projects a holovid into the classroom. A solemn woman in weird clothes identifies herself as Haven Constance Odenheim, an educational designer for the Vertumna group, and tells you that the following experience has been created specifically to teach you, the third generation of the group, about the largest contributing factor in Earth's destruction: capitalism. Yeah, that feels about right. You and the other students exchange worried looks. You spend the day in an interactive experience that covers the history of capitalism, from market feudalism to its transition to colonialism, then its major phases like industrialization, mass production, and corporatism. It ends with discussion of how it collapsed in the late 21st century as wealth inequality and environmental concerns finally weakened its hegemony, along with the planet itself. The educational experience tells you that, despite being regarded by many as simply an economic system, capitalism has been responsible for more violence on Earth than any act of war. From its very beginnings as the colonial powers spread mercantilism across the globe, it required a constant supply of people to exploit through any means necessary. It took centuries for people to realize how horrible capitalism was, once people could no longer hide from its racist, colonialist history. You're partway through the lesson when Cal realizes the parallels. But we live in a colony, don't we? Aren't we colonizing Vertumna? Isn't that wrong? Of course not, dummy, Mars reasons. There aren't any people here to take the land from, just a bunch of animals. Animals count too, though. Cal nods in agreement, but Mars is not impressed. I squashed a Dorbsmoth the other day, she retorts. Are you going to put me in future jail for money crimes? Yikes, Alana, you should just lock yourself in your room if you're so worried about hurting the environment. Tangent watches this exchange silently, but turns her head and doesn't meet your eye when you look at her. E. There's a commotion in the square. An expeditions vehicle has driven through the grates and is idling in the middle of the square. An unusual sight. People come down from command to investigate. Utopia gets... Okay. Hi there. Utopia gets out of the vehicle and trudges over to Uticott. After a brief conversation, you see Uticott gesture for people to unload the vehicle and clear the area. You stay out of the way to see what they're unloading. It's a body. Chief Surveyor Tonan's body. Someone quickly covers him with a sheet, but not before the image of his torn open body is seared into your memory. However he died, it was violent and bloody. You feel your stomach cramp with nausea. What happened? Dice asks, coming over to crouch around the corner with you. You share that Uncle Tonan is dead, and he stares at the sheet-covered body intensely, as if you could see through it. Did they say how? I'm sure they'll tell us later. Dice frowns. No, they won't. They'll just tell us something happened, the same way a bunch of animals just happened to attack the colony. They don't want us to know about the monsters and other worse stuff. They want us to think everything is fine, but it's not. This planet isn't as nice as they say it is. He shakes his head. They hate that they can't control us. You and Dice watch the adults carry Uncle Tonan's body away. From the way he's practically vibrating, you can tell Dice wants to ask more questions about what's happened. After a few awkward minutes, he sneaks away without saying anything, probably to try to go take a look at the body. At least Tammy isn't around to see this, you think? At least they're together now, wherever people go when they die. You watch Utopia bend over to get a hug from Uticott, wiping her eyes as she finally cries. Uticott has never been the most comforting presence in your life, but it seems to help. Utopia will probably be the next chief surveyor. At 24, she'll be the youngest council member. She was only a toddler when the stratosphere left Earth. Apparently, her sharp eye and hoverbike flying skills are the best in expeditions. It's glow season. You spend several hours a day obsessively checking the local holonet for updates. With so few people in the colony, social media can be very dead. It feels like you're talking to yourself sometimes. You try to start a few conversations, but most people are busy at work or school. What are my cards looking like right now? I have a lot of mental cards. I think I forget this one. I have a lot of mental cards, but I don't have a lot of social cards. I'm just gonna... It's been a quiet glow, but the grim, surreal darkness of the season reminds you of last year's violence. As the month wears on, you overhear arguments at dinner. Adults worrying that an attack is still coming, and others who think the first one was a fluke. Surveyors mention seeing new tracks in the forest, but are hushed so people don't panic. The gates are closed. You drill emergency procedures, filing soundlessly from the classroom to the crèche to hide under tables, waiting for the sirens to call the all clear. You drill and prepare and worry, but nothing happens. Then, just as glow is starting to wane, the toxic purple spill of the wormhole fading as the suns almost rise past the horizon again, the sirens start. You're reading a holo novel in bed when you hear them, followed by the stomp of boots down the hallway outside your quarters. An alert flashes on your holopalm. Shelter in the crèche. This is not a drill. You get another message from your dad. Me and Mom are going to stay in the greenhouses. We're safe. Just follow Auntie Anne through the crèche and wait for us, okay? Don't worry. We're way more prepared than we were last year. Love you. Stay safe. You go to the crèche where you belong, or you could follow the security guards and see what's happening at the gates. You head for the children's crèche. Even with just the emergency lights on, your feet could never forget the way. When you get there, you spot Tangent and Dice huddled together on the beanbag chairs. Dice is stone-faced, as usual, and he's holding Tangent in his arms. You can't remember the last time you saw them this close. Tang must really be scared. You take a seat on the beanbag chair and wait. Other children filter into the room after you. Anemone, her little brother's Nougat, You don't see him, so Cal must be sheltering with your parents in the greenhouses. You hope they're okay. It's so dumb they won't let us outside, Dice grumbles. We live here too. We deserve to know what's going on. They're treating us like little kids. I'm not even scared. You search his face for signs he's lying to sound cool, but his bad mood is sincere. Tangent smacks his arm. Don't be ridiculous, she snaps. There's dangerous animals out there. Dice just shrugs. Nothing scares him. You don't hear much from outside. After a while, the sirens sound all clear and you all file back to your quarters. Your mom and dad join you right away and give you a big hug and thank you for following their instructions. When the things have calmed down, you overhear your parents talking. I'm not going to be the first to congratulate Rhett, but all of his defensive improvements were exactly what we needed, your mom grumbles. Ugh, he's going to be insufferable at the next council meeting. Your dad pats her hand. Credit where credit's due, Lulubelle, he says, and she smiles despite herself. It could have been worse. Your mom nods, and they both sit in silence before your dad speaks again. Poor Hal, he sighs. What a way to go. Your parents startle. Hey, Pumpkinhead, your dad says. Yeah, they're going to announce it in a few hours after everyone's had a chance to calm down. He didn't make it. Don't worry about that, your mom replies, shooting your dad a look to keep him from talking. It's adult stuff, okay? You guys won't be able to go into the engineering wing for a little bit. Not until it's decontaminated. You curl up quietly to think. Professor Hal can't just die. He can't just be gone. He's your teacher. And the engineering wing is where you take classes. You can't imagine something bad happening in such a safe place. You fall asleep, thinking for sure there's been some mistake. It's the start of age 12, but it is getting quite late, and I do need to eat dinner. There's a lot that just happened. Tangent is storming around the quad in front of engineering, checking notes on her holobomb, gesturing and grunting in frustration. Ah, this is the worst. I can't possibly, she says, her voice cracking. She seems too upset to even explain it. Professor Hal, she tries again. Hal. He was helping me with this physics chapter, and now he's... She throws her hands in the air, virtual holopalm screens flying everywhere. I can't understand this without him. This is impossible, she chokes out. Why did he have to die? She stiffens, then lets you hold her. You can feel her shaking. You think she might be crying, but when she finally pulls away, her eyes are dry. Thank you, Solana, she says. I know you're having a hard time with this as well. Nothing is easy on Vertumna, when even the adults can't protect themselves. It's obvious we're on our own out here. Can I help you study? Tang looks like she's about to decline, then gives you a considering look. Thank you, Solana. We may not be able to rely on the adults, but we're not alone in this. I have you. Okay, but can I help you study? Reasoning 40. Oh, close. This feels very strange to be playing this while I have a Splatoon VTuber model. Now that I'm looking at it, now that I'm looking at my own stream. The colony is still reeling from Professor Hal's death. You're not sure who to expect when you go to class today. You take your seat in the classroom. Chief Engineer Instance is chatting near the front with Tangent, but as the class fills up, as Tang returns to her seat and Instance fires up Congruence's holoprojection. Alright, listen up, Instance says. Congruence is expensive as hell to run in a directive mode, but she'll have to do as your teacher for now. I'm far too busy to be teaching children. Today, Congruence teaches you about machine learning and the development of artificial intelligences. Congruence has been a part of your life for as long as you can remember. It's hard to imagine a time when people didn't have access to such a powerful, all-knowing intelligence. How did people used to learn anything? It's a wonderful question. Here, hold on a second. don't like it. I won, but I don't like it. You've been having weird dreams, as usual. They seem to get worse around glow. You wake from a dream that has tears drying on your face, though you can't remember why. Just that you were terrified. Whatever it was, it felt real enough that for a moment you just lie in bed with your eyes closed and tried to calm your breathing. You blearily rubbed your eyes and... Surprise! Oh, it's your birthday. Your dad leaps onto your bed and gives you a big cuddle. Happy birthday, little tomato head. 12 years old. Wow. Can you believe it? No, your mom answers for you, laughing as she hands you your presents. It was just yesterday Antecedent was showing me how to change your diaper. Because it's your birthday, your parents have brought in food from the canteen so you can all eat together on your bed. As you stuff your face with savory tofu chunks, you open your presents. Which one is your favorite? Oh, a photophoner from my best friend. A photophoner. This instrument is part flute and part paintbrush and uses a Neuralink to paint holograms in the air as you play. How did Tangent know? What a great gift. You can't wait to practice it in the lounge. Everyone's going to love it. As your dad clears away the wrapping paper and the dishes from breakfast, your mom folds her hands on the table and gives you a serious look. Uh-oh. So, she says, we've been here 2 years now. I know your dad and I have always said you're in charge of your schedule, but we've been keeping an eye on you. A loving eye. Your dad interjects, stuffing wrapping paper into the recycler pickup bin. A trusting, gentle eye. Professor Hal used to tell us all the time about how hard you're trying in school, your mom continues. That's great. Your dad and I are really proud of you. Working might seem fun and grown up when you're a kid, but if you want to do more than manual labor, you'll need some book smarts too. Your dad joins you again. So, it's time to start thinking about how you're going to contribute to the colony when you're older. At the look on your face, he laughs. Don't worry, we're not going to make you get a job right now. We're just asking, what do you want to be when you grow up? Teacher, like Professor Hal. Your mom smiles sadly. I'm sure he would have loved to hear that, she says. The colony will need someone as passionate about teaching as he was. Well, your mom starts to get up. I'm sure your friends all want to wish you a happy birthday. She stops and snaps her fingers. Oh, you might not have considered a career as a depot clerk, but Al and Bernie mentioned their daughter Mars is working there, and she needs some help. Now that people can freely order luxuries, it's pretty busy there. Sure beats shoveling dirt, your dad laughs. If you don't take that job, you tell Mars I'll be right there. Your mom rolls her eyes and smiles. New perk. Draw an extra card at the start challenge. Ooh. Hey Cal. You're looking for Cal in the garden when you nearly trip over someone else. One of the younger kids, and they're blindfolded? Hey! They exclaim, ripping the blindfold off their face and throwing it to the ground. It's Cirrus, one of Anemone's brothers. He glares at you. I was almost done! Cal jogs over and grabs Cirrus in a friendly headlock, ruffling his messy red hair. Cirrus stamps his feet and complains that you got in his way. It's not his fault, Cal says. He didn't know we were playing a game. Give me a sec. I want to teach him how to play. Cal turns to you as Cirrus leaves. Sorry, Solana, he says sheepishly. I was teaching Cirrus a new game. Cyrus? I'm gonna assume it's Cyrus, but he's more like an anemone than I thought. Real competitive, you know? He stoops to pick up the blindfold, brushing off the dirt. I've been trying to come up with different kinds of games other than sports ball, he says. No winners or losers. I just want to have fun with my friends. Cal looks at you hopefully. Do you want to learn how to play? Yeah, sure. Cal's smile looks like it's gonna stretch right off his face. Radical, he shouts, jumping up and down with excitement. Okay, so first, put on this blindfold. The blindfold is a bit scratchy and smells like dirt. You can feel Cal's big hands on your shoulders. I'm gonna spin you around, and when I let go, you gotta listen to my instructions. We're gonna walk all the way to the cafeteria, okay? You nod. You can't see Cal's grin, but you can hear it in his voice as he spins you around and counts to 10. 1, 2, 3. First, Cal says, you gotta walk forward 10 steps. Do you follow Cal's instructions as best you can, or make things difficult for him? I trust him. You take 10 steps straight forward, holding your hands out for balance. The rocky dirt between the garden beds crunches under your feet. Yeah, Cal says. Now, turn to your right and take 15 steps until you get to the door. You turn to the right and walk forward, counting at 15 steps. When you stop, Cal laughs. You can hear his footsteps crunching behind you. I forgot how much bigger I am than you. You're like 2 more steps away. You take 2 more steps until your outstretched hands land on the warm metal of the door. Success. Awesome, Cal says. You can't help but smile. This is fun. Now hit the door button on the right and then keep walking forward until I say stop. Go really slowly, okay? Oh, my empathy's not high enough. You open the door and start to walk forward. The path slopes downwards and your feet slip a little bit, even though you're moving as slowly as you can. Real dirt is nothing like the metal floors of Stratospheric. It's turbo rocket here, Cal says, and you can feel uneasiness prickle up the back of your arms. Just keep going forward slowly. You try to do as you're told, but after a few steps, your foot knocks against a sprawling root and you fall forward, catching yourself on your hands and knees. Ouch. You tear off the blindfold, a sudden rush of tears flooding your eyes. Cal's beside you in an instant, kneeling on the rocks. Are you okay? He asks. You look down at yourself. Your knees and hands are pretty scraped up, and your pride is bruised, but other than that, you're okay. Cal helps you stand. I'm sorry, Solana. I'll be a better helper next time. He asks if you want to get some potato juice at the cafeteria instead. You spend the rest of the afternoon brainstorming more games where there are no winners or losers. I got to play games with Cal. Wait, what do I need? Reasoning. Eventually, Chief Engineer Instance breezes through the door. She's accompanied by Tang, who takes a seat beside you, barely giving you a second look. Life Sciences, Instance snaps. Who can tell me what it is? She points at you. Solana, start us off with the correct answer, please. Instance doesn't look pleased, but she doesn't look disappointed either. That's about as good as you ever get from her, honestly, so you can count that as a win. Take it. New perk. But this is what really matters. Actually, I can't because again, it's late. I know I said I was gonna stop earlier, but did it work? Did it go through? Cool. That's gonna be it for me, honestly. That was a very nice. That was a pretty nice chill time. I didn't get to do a lot, mostly because of time, but I can definitely see myself playing this like on and off. Real quick, I just want to say, Nari ZXY, I don't know how to pronounce that, so I'm sorry. Adeyan, I Am Not Asleep, Gloomy Trait, Mr. Eat Pants, and Love for Lust. Thank you all so much for following my channel. Thank you so much for the support. I very much appreciate it. Very simply, Happy New Year. Hopefully your holidays have been well. Happy New Year. Merry holidays. Here's to a better year. And here's to new experiences and hopefully a lot of growth. I love you all. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy. See you in the next time.